Success to me looks like waking up and being happy with what I'm doing.
I hate it when people say practice makes perfect. I think practice makes progress. When you're trying to scale perfection,
Right.
you're never going to get it perfect. You're never going to scale. You're never going to get bigger. You're never even going to start. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to have you on because you're doing some seriously amazing things. And, I love to gas my girls up.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Before going straight into the business world, which you are very much in there, I am always so curious about how someone was raised and how their adolescent years really shaped them as adults. So I know you were raised in Miami, but can you paint a picture for us of how you were raised?
For sure. So I'm a first generation American. My mom came here when I was in her belly. She was pregnant. And being a first generation American, that's truly shaped who I am today. Seeing truly the American dream come to fruition through the lens of an immigrant child. And so growing up with my parents, they have always instilled the right beliefs, the right values. And growing up in my adolescent years, I spent a lot of time on MySpace, Tumblr, and that was an
The
easy
good old
transition.
days.
Yeah, that was an easy transition into jumping into social media. And I remember being 13 years old, coding my MySpace website, then coding my Tumblr website, and then opening an Instagram account, empowering women, and using Canva to upload quotes. And that's how it all started for me.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I used to love my MySpace. The
Me
top
too.
8 was a war zone.
I hid them and I used code to hide them because I didn't want to choose anymore.
Do you remember your MySpace song?
Yeah, I would say there was one point where I had Bet on It by Zac Efron from High School Musical.
Oh my God.
Not even kidding. I remember I also had Lollipop, Lil Wayne.
Classic.
I had a wide variety of music taste, that's for sure.
I see
Yeah,
that. We're
and
going to
then,
have to
maybe
explore
some,
that one day.
Yeah, and maybe some like Screamo punk band.
Okay.
For sure.
We all had that era.
For sure. I definitely had one.
My MySpace song, I think it was called Light by Ellie Goulding or something. That one still hits. You know?
She's incredible.
So you mentioned that you come from an immigrant family and all of that, was your family religious? Because I know you mentioned a little bit about like morals and things like that. Do you think your family skewed religious, or was God a part of your life?
That's a good question, because I wouldn't say that my parents were extremely religious, but my mom would force me to pray with her every night. So I guess kind of religious. But she was just trying to teach me like how to pray the Our Father, the Hail Mary. And I guess that instilled, the importance of having God in my life. So I guess we were kind of religious, but we wouldn't go to church every Sunday. But God's presence was definitely in my life. And I would say that, some of my parents' teachings were definitely like, oh, if you do good, God will promote you to the next level and whatnot. So that's truly been.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that religion and spirituality are kind of same,
Yeah.
So I feel like that's probably, I was raised very similar where we didn't go to church or anything like that, but it was definitely force-fed God. And I love that I was, honestly. And then going to Catholic school.
Force-fed. I love that you said that.
It really was. They were like, you need to do good. What would God think about it?
True,
All these
yeah.
things, and like when you're
And
young.
Santa Claus.
Yeah,
El Niño Jesus.
Santa Claus. Of course, and it was Jesus' birthday, and then crazy how when we're young, what they tell us we don't want to do, and then later years to come, we end up doing it on our own, and then we literally become our parents. Like, it's
crazy. Now that we're the age, I don't know at what age your parents had you, but now I'm at the age where my parents had me.
Yeah.
And now I could start seeing similarities, and I'm like, interesting.
Yeah. No, it really is crazy. My mom had me really young. My parents have a huge age difference.
Really? Okay. No, I didn't know.
They have like a 16-year age gap.
Oh my God.
I know.
I love that for them.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
They're thriving. They built a business together. I mean, they're still together. They've been together for over 30 years, But yeah, she had
when you find that's your person, no matter the age.
Age is just a number, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to keep telling myself before I hit age 30. So.
Oh, yeah, no. 2 more years or 1 more year for you.
I have 2 more.
Okay.
I just turned 28 in October. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you're going to turn 29 this year.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm turning 28.
Okay.
I'm younger than you.
I'm sorry. No, but I honestly have learned to love to grow. I hate when people say it's like growing older, because yes, we're getting older, but I feel like I'm growing just wiser, more beautiful. Like, I'm just gaining so much every year.
I love that.
I don't know.
As we all should. Our frontal lobe's closing, or it's closed.
It's closed. close. I mean, that's what they say, but I don't know if I really believe that. I feel like I'm
I do.
still figuring life out, but to a degree, obviously. But that's amazing. You now run a digital agency. You're in luxury real estate, and also you are the founder of Self-Made Babe, which shameless plug here.
Shameless plug.
So, how do you feel your upbringing has really shaped you to become an entrepreneur?
I mean, it really just depends on what direction to go in this. But I remember I actually didn't get to tell you this, but my parents never bought me a kitchen set. You know how a lot of toddlers and a lot of young girls get a kitchen set to play, you know, cooking and like play housewife.
Yeah.
My dad was so against that.
Really?
He was against. My daughter is not going to be trophy wife. I mean, she could be if she wanted to.
If you want to,
but, you know, he was like,
you need the option.
Exactly. But my dad was like so against it. And he was like, my daughter is not going to aspire to be cooking after the man or cleaning after the man or whatever. And he bought me like different types of cashiers. I remember there was a Barbie cashier at one point, and it was pink. It had a little microphone, could press little buttons to like charge, and like it'll open like Barbie Cash on the bottom. And I would charge them for even talking to me.
So you guys need a consultation. That's cost you.
Yeah, literally. That's how it started, I would say.
Oh my God. That's so cute.
Yeah. And then going back, my dad would give me like a $5 allowance, and he would start trying to teach me like the principles of like saving and budgeting.
At like such a young age. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And did you have like little businesses with your family beyond the cashier?
No, I mean, you know, actually my parents, they opened a small little gift shop hotel in Miami at the Intercontinental.
Oh, nice.
And I would go to kindergarten. I would go to my first grade. I'd go to my school, an elementary school. And after that, my mom would pick me up and I'd go stay with her.
Yeah.
The gift shop, and I'd help her, and I'd be playing at the computer room at the side. And yeah, that's how I came about. And so I had
really was like entrepreneurship from the beginning.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's just like there really was no other life for you.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
And like I would see how my mom would treat their customers and whatnot, and it was cute. I look up to my father a lot, and he's an entrepreneur himself. And as I said earlier, he's the definition of the American dream. He came to Florida with just $20. My pregnant mom and him crashed on their cousin's couch for a week to get their footing. He got his first job as a waiter or maybe potentially a busboy. And then he was just trying to scale that. He was able to get an interview at a corporate job and then scaled the corporate ladder, which led him to opening a business.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And quite a success too, because I mean, we were raised in the same environment and we went to private school and did all these things and lived a somewhat comfortable life to a degree, of course.
To a degree, not my entire life, but it was towards high school where my dad was finally making enough money and he decided like, you know, I want my daughter to be surrounded with people that value religion. I was saying earlier, like, oh no, he's not religious. But like, I guess he
sounds like they were.
Like they valued religion. They valued, you know, the connections that can come across from being in private schools. And they wanted mostly for me to be immersed into Catholicism, but not strictly.
Yeah, like to have that influence essentially, like in your life. It's interesting that you said that your dad wanted you to focus in on not just being a housewife, because I was actually raised very similar.
Okay.
Because not so much in my like early years, even though I was a very like entrepreneur girl, because my dad like a shoulder massage would be like $5, you know, like so that was my little side hustle. And like I've always done little things in my life, but I think like especially when I was in high school, my dad would sit me down and he would do like his accounting, or he would like think about new strategies of marketing for his business, and I would always be like his right hand. I've just always loved business and been very immersed in that, you know, so I've always been like his little protege. So it's just interesting because we both have like Hispanic dads, you know, and immigrant dads, right? So it's just interesting how they had such a similar mindset coming to Miami or coming to America,
right,
and wanting a better life for their daughters. And then we enter society now, women are not necessarily praised for being ambitious, and you know, there's this backlash for being ambitious, right? It's just such a shame, you know, because it's nothing wrong with it.
There isn't.
And it comes from a background of just your father wanting you to be successful and be happy.
Exactly. and wanting the absolute best for you, better than what you can accomplish potentially in their home country.
Yeah. Started your real estate journey not too long ago, right?
Yeah,
Like
2 years
about 2
ago.
years ago. Okay, I mean
August
that's huge.
2022. And I've been able to close like 8 million
Oh
in
my
growth
God, that's
volume
crazy.
in 15 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Basically your first year. Wow, this is like selling sunset energy.
I'm trying.
Do you ring a bell every time you
No. I know that in Selling Sunset they ring a bell,
Yeah,
but I
they
don't
do, they
keep up with
do.
them.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, honestly,
But I
like
should. I'm
you
gonna start
should.
ringing all the
You
bells.
should. You should, girl. That is a huge accomplishment and like
Thank
so
you.
much more to come. So I think that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Let's hope to double it.
Yes, you will. So I can imagine, especially as you entered like the real estate game, right? There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of, people who've been in the game for a really long time.
For sure.
I'm sure you've had moments of like doubt, uncertainty, like imposter syndrome, right? Like I think that we
Yeah.
all feel that to a degree, no matter where we are in life, right? No
Right.
matter if we're 10 years in the game or a year in the game, you're still going to feel a degree of that. Like when you're feeling that, what do you do to like regain focus and like stay motivated or really better said consistent?
I mean, honestly, just learning your craft and becoming better at it. I think having the want is the most important part. There is no motivation, then you're not going to get very far. So you have to be self-motivated enough to really push the needle forward in your career. And that's how I see it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to imposter syndrome, I think the best way to combat that is just, again, like learning and bettering your craft as you can.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I think practice is repetition, right? Like,
yeah.
I hate it when people say practice makes perfect. I think practice makes progress.
Yes, for sure.
And I think it's a better way of looking at it because
For sure.
when you're trying to scale for perfection,
right.
You're never going to get it perfect. You're never going to scale. You're never going to get bigger. You're never even going to start.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Yeah. And I think it's important also to start small as well. I think baby steps lead to big steps at the end of the day. And if that means, like, for example, in real estate, having to do rentals to get an influx of clients going through your pipeline until you get to that point where you want to be. And even in marketing, if you're in brand and web design, just doing logos in the beginning and then opening that to a branding project that can help as well.
Yeah. No, it's totally true because when you put like too much pressure on yourself to, for example, let's use marketing, offering all these services, you don't specialize in that craft of like logo creation versus like doing a branding shoot. So that's very true. The more that you zone in on one thing, you can get perfect at it and then start to scale, and you're going to be a master at it in the end. And everyone's going to be like, who is this girl popping off? And,
exactly.
Really you were setting down that roots. I don't know if you saw, it was a Grammy Award winner that she was actually talking about how she spent the last 15 years of her career unnoticed.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
no, I have not.
Completely
Please tell me.
unnoticed. And basically, she focused the last 15 years on her career, right? But the last year is where she was able to see that success and be able to make a Grammy. She had been writing like these hit songs for Beyonce, Lady Gaga, like you name it. She's written a song for them, and she was just up there on stage just telling people, like, just know at the end of the day, your hard work will go notice one day, and I think that kind of like speaks to that a little
for
bit.
sure.
So
I
it's
love
just
that
really
story.
beautiful.
I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah. Honestly, 15 years is a long time to wait.
It is.
But
It
I guess
is.
like patience is a part of it.
Yeah.
I don't have it, but I gotta I
You're
gotta
gonna work
grow
on
that muscle. Yeah, I gotta grow that muscle. So you have a lot on your plate, right? Luxury real estate, digital marketing agency, as well as self-made babe, right? And that can be a lot to manage, right? So how do you maintain a little bit of a work-life balance, right? Because you still want a little bit of a personal life, like you're married, you want to enjoy that too, so how do you manage that schedule?
Yeah, I think with work-life balance, I don't really have a work-life balance because I really like what I do. And so it just marries into every aspect that I do in my life. But I would say a lot of the things that help me is just asking for help. So if that means I need to outsource a few things that can offload some things off my plate, I'll do it. If realistically I can't get to that one thing on that day, I'll get to that one thing the next day. And I think when it comes to having a work-life balance, it's important to really just set time for yourself that like truly fills your cup,
Yeah.
but also, you know, pushes again the needle forward for you and your business. So
Yeah.
honestly, I just feel like with what I do, it just marries so much into my personal life that
No,
I'm not sure if I have a work-life balance.
honestly, I can resonate with that because I feel like society tells you like you need to be balanced, right? And
Right.
I know I kind of posed the question like that, right? But I think especially like as I've been building podcasts and building kind of like the platform for everything and editing and all these things that
Right.
combine this, right? It's
Right.
not, you know, just one avenue, but I think that sometimes balance is not necessarily just the balance in your week. I think it's in the balance in your month, in your year,
Yeah.
right? Because for me, like right now is a period where I need to focus on recording and editing and like, you know, to bolt, right? Essentially, you know, plan for the next 3 months or plan for the quarter, right? So this is like a concentration moment in my life versus like once everything starts launching, all that, and my life will be a little bit more balanced, right? So I think that balance, that's how I've seen it. That's how I've been looking at it recently, you know, and I don't know, I feel like it's such a new perspective, you know?
Yeah. And I think just measuring like how much you want to succeed as well.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think it's being clear on your why.
Yeah, for sure.
Being clear on your why, because at the end of the day, if you're not passionate about that why, you're not going to have like that motivation to continue going, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's not going to feel aligned to your core.
Exactly.
So I can resonate with that a lot, you know, and it's interesting because I'm in corporate America,
Mhm.
right? And I work in advertising and I love it. I really, really do. Obviously, like I'm an entrepreneur at heart.
I love that.
But even though I was in corporate America, I still really enjoyed what I did. I still woke up really excited to like be creative and like do something different outside of the box, you know, and like I know you resonate with that. And
Yeah.
and it really is, no matter you're in corporate or an entrepreneur, whatever walk of life you choose, you can still have a passion for what you do.
Exactly.
You know, and I think that's really cool.
And I think that's something that everyone should aspire to do or have or aspire towards.
Yeah. I just feel like people are scared.
Oh,
People are
100%.
so scared to do that,
100%.
you know?
Yeah. And I think a lot of people fear rejection and fear what others may think. And there's actually this one quote from an influencer that I follow. Her name is Audrey Peters. Shout out to her. But she like screams this everywhere she goes. People will think you're cringe until you're successful. And I love that she says that because it couldn't be even more true. Because let's say if someone is starting to start their own business or if they're starting to build a platform on social media, there's going to be crickets, and the people around you are going to be like, oh, look at her, look at what they're doing. It's not going well for them. But wait 15 years, like that one Grammy winner, and no one is going to be thinking how cringe you are. They're just going to be like, oh my God, she went to my high school. Oh my God, I studied with her. Oh my God, I worked with her. I met her, whatever. She goes to my gym, you know?
That is so true. And also, I've realized, especially like while even launching this, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like in a caterpillar stage,
Okay.
right? And it's so nice to interview women who have like basically butterflies, right? And it's so nice to get their perspective on things. But I've realized, even just in interviewing women who are like, you know, in their entrepreneurship journey, I realized that they are so helpful. They want to be helpful, you know?
Yeah.
They are willing to give you an extra hand and all these
Yeah.
things, you know, versus, you know, people who don't want to take that step for themselves. Like,
Right.
those are the people that will have the crickets. But the other people who are actually doing really cool shit are never going to think that you're going to be cringe. They're going to be like, wow, look at you, keep going.
Exactly.
You know, and I feel like who you surround yourself with is so important. You know, like
Yeah.
your surrounding is everything. Your
Yeah.
environment is
Yeah.
everything.
They
you
say
know?
that you're the sum of the 5 people that you hang out with. So take a look at the 5 people that you're
Yeah.
hanging out with. And if they're not where you want to be, get out of there.
Yeah, seriously. I also think environment is partially everything else you consume.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Like social media,
Yeah, yeah.
music, the quotes you see,
Books you read.
the books you read. Everything is so important to your growth and based on your environment, you know? And I don't know, I've just like really been auditing my life
No,
recently.
I think people should audit their
Yeah.
lives a lot more because then we'd be more productive. We'd be more successful. We'd have more money in our bank if we audit our life.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I try to do often, or at least every new year.
Mhm.
You know, I take a look back my previous year see what worked, what didn't, and just
Yeah.
eliminating what didn't work
Yeah.
and restructuring and seeing what I can do better.
Yeah.
So that's something that I always work on and work towards
I
at
love
the beginning
that.
of the year.
Recently, I got on the side of TikTok. I don't know if you've been on this side.
Okay, what side?
This
I'm on a
thing.
lot of sides.
Okay, no, I love that. The 12-week rule. Have you heard of that? Sorry, 12-week year.
No, I heard about it, but I don't know like what it's about.
Okay, so it is so cool. It's so
It's
interesting.
basically like structuring your year as like these businesses
Yeah,
do. Like
exactly.
Q1,
You
Q2,
plan your life in
Q3, Q4.
quarters is basically what it is,
Yeah.
right? And it totally makes sense. Especially like, I mean, you run a business. You plan
Yeah.
things ahead. You have to
Yeah.
plan things in quarter. Why would you not do that for your personal life and your
Right.
personal goals as well?
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, it's this idea where you set these goals and then instead of making it yearly goals, you cut it into 4-quarter goals and then you make it into monthly goals, weekly,
I love that.
daily. And then, I mean, it just creates an environment where your goals are much more achievable.
Yeah. For
Right.
sure.
And it could be very high level. Like for me, it was a more of spiritual. And I said that I want my dream life was for me to just be very connected to God and just
Really?
have him part of my journey. Yeah.
I
I'm
love that.
actually I'm very spiritual for
I love
sure.
that.
I like pray to God every single day, which
Same.
was my goal, right? One of the things was, okay, I want to be a spiritual woman. What do I need to do? I need to pray and I need to have God in my life every
Right.
single day, some way, shape, or form. And that was the daily goal, you know? So it's just like little things like that that has really helped me. So going more into the business world, what inspired you to pursue a career in real estate and how exactly did you transition into this luxury market? Well, I feel like you really started in luxury. You like went full force, girl.
Yeah. So it's funny because one of the main reasons why I truly love real estate is because I'm a fan of architecture, I'm a fan of design, and I would just spend my free time on Zillow at like 1, 2 a.m. just searching through all of the properties in Miami, all the dream properties in Miami. I was like, I like that house. I like that house. Okay, I need 5 million to afford this house. Okay.
Oh, so you were looking in the millions.
Oh,
You were dreaming
I was
big,
already
girl. You were dreaming big.
I mean, I'm still dreaming big. That's for sure. It's gonna happen. It's gonna
Yes,
happen.
it will.
But you know, I've always had a love for real estate, and I had always been inspired by my father with whatever he does. And I know that he has his real estate license on the side, and he helps his friend whenever they need help buying or selling their property, their business. And so I like seeing that that's like kind of like a side hustle that my dad has, and he's able to bring like an extra 10, 12, 16K to his to his, I guess, monthly cash flow. And so that part was inspirational to me, but also I didn't just jump into luxury real estate.
Okay.
So I would say that I got my license in 2021.
Okay.
Didn't take it seriously. I joined a brokerage that didn't align with what I did, what my goals were, and they were mostly like a Spanish speaking brokerage. So I just would never go because I just didn't feel
Connected.
And fast forward a year after, my cousin was starting to open a brokerage with his partner, and they have been doing real estate for luxury real estate for the past 18 years. And they work primarily with real estate investors. And so I kind of just pitched myself to them because I had heard in family parties that he was looking to scale his business. And I knew that I could provide value to them, but I also knew that they could also provide value to me, and I can be under their wing while also being their right hand woman. And so I just pitched myself to them. I met with them, and the rest has been history. I've learned so much. I'm so incredibly grateful with what I've learned. That's how I got into luxury real estate. I didn't go in full force. I would say if someone's looking to get into luxury real estate, my biggest advice would be to find a team that lists or offers luxury homes and pitching yourself to them and just sending an email asking them, hey, do you need help?
I love that because I think like whenever you start in something new, you need to be very humble in the beginning. You know, because I mean, that's
and
how
in
life, you know, because or else it's hard to get ahead when you have like this,
for sure,
perspective that you're better than everybody and everyone's competition and you don't really make connections like that.
For sure. And I was already doing Self-Made Babe and Detailist at that time. And so just like incorporating that piece of the pie into the whole pie, I guess, has been very rewarding for sure.
Yeah, I love that. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Do a lot of people pitch themselves to like real estate agents? Is that something that's common? common, or?
I would say yes and no. Since I've delved into the world, I know who are the top producers and who are the agents that do well in whatever niche that they do. But a lot of them are looking for help, and a lot of them have been looking for help for a few months.
Oh, wow.
So I would say like a month or two at most. But I would say, I don't know. I'm not sure if people pitch themselves enough. People probably think that they don't need the help, but it's just as simple as asking a question. And I think that's with anything in life. You know, if you really want a job at a company, just asking them if they need help.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. And I love that you were able to put yourself out there and just be like, you know what, I'm going to take this opportunity and
Yeah,
like
I
look what
wanted to
it's,
learn. That was my main goal.
and like look what it's turned into.
Yeah.
You know, so
I'm so
now it's like
grateful.
a full career and like you're killing it. I mean, $8
Thank
million
you.
in sales in 15 months, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to keep saying that, by the way.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
So you also have Self-Made Babe. You're the founder of that brand, and you have been for quite a few years, right? And it's been really cool to see you evolve that space. It's a resource for a lot of businesswomen, social media specifically, right?
Yes.
And I love it. I mean, it's such a
Thank
cute
you.
brand, such a cute aesthetic, and like your memes. I love your memes. They're
Thank
so
you.
cute. What motivated you to create this space? And like, how do you feel like self-made ties into your overall life in a way? Because it feels like more, like a lot like a passion.
For sure. It's definitely a passion project. But I think when I was first starting out, my main goal was helping women. That was it. I knew that to be able to be a resource to women, I had to provide them with the knowledge that I've accrued over the years and just being accessible to them, you know? So I would create Instagram course guides. I would create mini master classes on like how to start your Shopify store, how to start a podcast, little master classes that will like, I guess, help women further.
With the Tiny Mike series, right? I
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah.
I'm an OG. I'm an OG.
Oh, that makes me so happy. But yeah, so Tiny Mike, she's still going strong. I'm still recording podcasts with my tiny microphone. It's a vibe.
I love it.
But yeah, and that was the main goal when I was starting Self-Made Babe. And it's truly become from passion project to business because I've been able to partner with so many incredible brands from around the world. That gives me, I guess, the reassurance that what I'm doing is good. And I think that my brand holds value. Do I need to continue and be consistent? Yeah, sure. Because I'm a solopreneur when it comes to Self-Made Babe. But just knowing that certain things have fully aligned and become someone that has a brand that holds value in the eyes of huge companies, it means a lot to me.
I love that.
Yeah. And going to your second question, which was
how does it tie into your overall?
Yeah. So then with Self-Made Babe, the reason I started it was because I wanted to help women, but it also ties into my life because my biggest goal is to be happy and to achieve my own version of success, whatever that looks like to anyone and to me. And so I think through this brand, I really want to empower women to really have like that stamp of approval of themselves, to really just feel empowered, but feel like they've done that thing, or they feel like they have become self-made because they work, they go to a 9 to 5, they started their own business. And so that's one of the reasons why
I love that, because women don't get recognized enough.
We don't. If we, as a sisterhood, we'll recognize
I
each
think
other.
I will say that in the last couple of years, I definitely think that there has been much more support for like being a girl's girl and all of that. And I'm like so happy that has happened. And like the whole Barbie movie, I mean,
I loved it. It was
loved
so
it.
cute.
It was amazing. I mean, we're in a pink room, for God's sake. You gotta love the Barbie
on
movie.
brand.
Very on brand. Society likes to tell us a lot of things. So being like zoned in and specializing on your craft, whatever that means, whether it's a job role or your business, is the only way to be successful, is the only way to prove people wrong, you know,
because and not take shit from anyone.
Not take shit from anyone. You got to block out the noise.
Yeah.
It's really what it is.
Yeah.
And sometimes the noise is in here.
True. Which
is so annoying sometimes.
Yeah.
Career, was there any pivotal moments in your life that you feel influenced you in the direction of your career?
I mean, I don't think there was any 180 moments in my life, to be honest. I think I've always wanted to help people. That was always the main goal. And you can help people in many different aspects, you know, through volunteering, by possibly starting a platform and being a resource to women. But I think Dia just occurs in my brain.
You just act.
I just act on it. And I think that's something that I've inherited from my own father, because everyone that knows him and admires him will say that. You know, like if you're like, oh, like for example, like, oh, you know, like I would like to buy a property. This is like an example that my cousin gave me. He's a very close family friend, and I call him my cousin. And I remember he was telling me like, oh, by the way, I told your dad that I wanted to buy a property, and like I told him I couldn't because I don't have papers here. Like he was like sponsored by a visa through like college and like his work and whatnot.
Okay.
And now he's married with like a beautiful wife. At the time, my dad's like, oh, if you just want to buy a property, like just start a business. And he was like, well, what? And he's like, yeah, we'll start it right now. And I guess moments like that are just like what have instilled in me.
So from the core, you were just always had that.
I always just, if there's an idea, I just follow through with action. And I'll work on the details as I go along, but at least I'm moving forward with what I want to do.
I love that.
Yeah, I would say I'm very impulsive, very impulsive. And when something enters my brain, I'm like, you're like, I gotta do
dead set on it.
Yeah, I'm dead set on it. And that also applies into my life in like retail therapy. Like if I want that lip gloss,
the danger zones. I was
like, if I want that lip gloss, I'm gonna get that lip gloss. If I want the Chanel ballet flats, which I haven't put the ballet on yet,
it's coming soon.
Yeah, it is.
It's gonna make an appearance real soon.
No, literally. But you know, like little things like that, like where I'm impulsive in a good way. You know,
okay.
Like I don't like pondering on things too much, because then it's just
then you get stuck.
Yeah, you just get stuck.
You get stuck. I can resonate a lot with that, but I will say, and this is getting a little deep. This is getting a little deep here. Okay. But for most of my life, and you know, I've been an entrepreneur in my earlier years of, especially my early 20s, had like a boutique, turned into a bikini brand, right? But I think for me, I kind of lost that spark for a couple years.
Okay.
To be honest.
That's okay.
Yeah. And I think a big reason why, and just kind of going back to environment, right, is who you surround yourself with.
True.
And sometimes people will come into your life and they're not necessarily the best fit for you.
Yeah.
So they won't allow you the space, not because they don't like you or because they're trying to cause harm. It's just, you're just not compatible with certain people. So like I was in a relationship, and not his fault at all, but I just became much less ambitious. I lost my fire. I lost my spark. And honestly, this podcast, to get emotional, whatever, but this podcast is such an important piece for me because it's bringing that light back for me.
I love that.
And I think it started, like the flame started to like start when I was in corporate America, because it got like my engine going, I guess you can say. And like I'm in a very competitive advertising agency, #1 in the world, honestly. We deal with Fortune 500 brands, and it calls to be competitive, and it calls to step up your game, and for you to be creative and think outside the box and all these things. And definitely been very successful in that. You know, since I had that entrepreneur spirit, I was really excited to like go that route again. And I just wasn't ready until now.
And
like,
that's okay.
Fire, you know? Breaking glass is so special to me because of that, honestly.
I love that. I love that. And you should just continue pursuing it as much as you can and as best as you can. Don't be scared.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary. But it's okay. We're getting there.
No, don't worry. You're going to be patting yourself in the back in a year or 2 or 3 or 4 or 15. You never know.
15, yeah. Hopefully a year. Come on. Guys, give me views. So you recently got married.
Yeah.
Yes. You're like a newlywed stage.
Yeah. I'm a wife now.
You're a wife. You're a full-on wife.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be a wife?
Honestly, I mean, we've been together for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
We've lived together already. So I guess it was just like more so like putting the ribbon on the box, you know? It, like,
or putting the diamond on the finger.
Yeah.
Better said. Like the diamond on the finger.
Yeah. But just, you know, like I don't think it's changed our life that much, but it's been beautiful. I think we've been able to step into our better selves because of it. And I mean, we're still our good selves since before we got married, but I would say it hasn't really changed much.
How do you feel like having a partnership, especially for as long as you've had 10 years? I mean, that's a whole decade. That's huge. It's unheard of today, right? So how do you feel like that's helped shape you to the woman you are today? Not just a businesswoman, but just a woman today.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think being in a relationship for so long, it's helped me stay focused too. Sometimes but I'm like,
it's distracting.
It is distracting. It's so distracting because you'd be worrying, you know, like I'd be worrying about like the fuck boy who screwed me over, or like, you know, and because I didn't have that, and because I was able to find my person at an early age, I was able to stay, I guess, more focused, a little bit more grounded, a little more goal oriented. But I wouldn't say that's because of my relationship. It's just I didn't have any other distractions distractions, as you said.
No, and I definitely feel that because especially me, like I have so many things in my life where like the box is checked. Obviously, I want to check more boxes, but like the foundational things, like having a stable financial income, like a home, happiness, like those things, right? Like except for like the relationship, right? And it really is like so much work to get to know someone, go on a date, all these things when you're also trying to build yourself and like your business, your career, you know, and it does feel distracting. And sometimes it feels hard to balance the two, you know, in a way because you have to go on the date, but then it's a Thursday night and you know, you have to go out because you have to put yourself out there. And it's just like, you know, so it's definitely sucks. But I think there's also something really beautiful about being single, you know,
for sure.
But I can imagine having a relationship as long like it just helps really with that foundational piece, right? So like you, I don't want to say you check that box because that's not the right way of saying it. But
no, but it's a box that has been checked, as you said.
Yeah, it is. You know, you don't have to. The weight of that is gone. You know, so that must be really nice.
Thank you. No, but I think even being single and just anyone like in a relationship, I mean, it just goes back into having that work, love, and life balance too.
I like that. Yeah, because I mean, you have your personal, right? That's you. You fill your own cup.
Yeah.
And then you have to fill each other's cup.
Exactly.
And then you got to fill your baby's cup.
Yeah, your baby's cup, which is your business or your passion projects. I mean, I wouldn't say work, but yeah.
Or do you have any questions for me?
Questions. I mean, yeah. Let's get into it. I'll step into my podcast.
Okay, let's do.
Abilities.
Okay.
So tell me something that I've always asked this to my podcast guests.
Okay.
But tell me something that you have recently done that you're proud of that you haven't been able to share with anyone else aside from breaking glass.
Something that I've done recently.
Yeah, that you're proud to have accomplished that you haven't gotten the chance to, I wouldn't say brag about, but talk about.
So I'm really big on mental health.
Okay.
I'm really big on therapy. I think I've really entered a space where I'm genuinely happy whether I'm in a relationship or not.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That's powerful. Yeah. Yeah.
I think for a really long time, I really wanted a relationship because I wanted to check that box. I wanted to like not have this concern. And I think especially since I'm so ambitious and goal oriented, I'm like, I need to check it, you know? Like, where is the check?
Yeah.
You know, because I just wanted to get it done with, right? And I think I entered a stage to not be so goal oriented in that way for that specific topic because I don't have control over that. I think I just kind of settled in the idea of I don't have control over that. I need to stop trying to control that and just let life happen and still continue to live your life and be happy and love yourself and spend this quality time that you have with yourself. You cannot get back. You know, one day I want to have kids, one day I want to be married and do the whole thing, the dogs, the house, all of it, right now it's just not that moment for me, and that's okay, and that's beautiful,
and it will come eventually.
Exactly. And there's a reason why I'm single in this period of my life, and I need to lean into that and discover that and be happy with that, you know?
For sure.
Because in the end of the day, if it's not this, it's something else. You know, always be chasing something.
So to check off that one box.
Whether it be a relationship or whatever, you know? You just kind of have to enter a mindset of life happened for you. So yeah.
I get that.
I guess that's something recently. It's like a mental.
Yeah, like a mindset shift that you've had to get through. And also like not to get into the religious side, which is so funny that I said that. Oh no, my family's not religious. but just like, you know, God's timing is perfect and it'll happen when it needs to, and and just leaving that up to God, the universe, and life.
True. Yeah.
That's how I see things.
Yeah. And it's so funny because everyone always says like, it'll happen when you least expect it, right?
No, and it's so true.
Yeah, it is so true. But I will say like, now that I'm entering that space, everyone keeps telling me, you see, Sydney, it's going to happen soon. And I'm like, I actually don't want it to happen right now. I feel like I entered a space where, I don't know, like I'm so focused on me and I want to stay focused on me. Like we've been dating a guy now, right? Obviously we're not going to name names and God knows if he'll stick around for the release of this podcast. You know,
if he lasts the set.
But I don't know, like for me, it's just I am totally okay with seeing him every other week for dinner.
And that's okay.
Getting to know each other slowly. I'm definitely in my slow moving era when it comes to dating. And I love that.
For sure.
I feel like we live in a society where after 2 months, you're already in a relationship. And I'm like, how can you be in a relationship with someone you've known them for 2 months? Like you barely know who they are. I don't know.
It's true. And people move in.
They move in, yeah. And obviously sometimes when you know, know, and I'm not here to judge anyone's relationship,
Yeah.
but I realized that I can't get attached that quickly because you just don't know if they'll stick around, one, and two, if you're compatible.
Right.
If you're even compatible, you know, this is like the most important decision of your life.
Yeah.
It should not be taken lightly.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at. That's a lot of therapy sessions later.
No, and I love that. That's something that a lot of women can take home too.
Yeah.
I think, and we actually said this at a girls' night, but I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves as women because we feel like our biological clock is against us. We should just ignore that pressure. You know, I was telling my friend, and I'm pretty sure I told you this, but I was telling my friend, like, oh, you know, like she was thinking of potentially freezing her eggs because she was scared and whatnot. And I was like,
How old is
girl,
she?
she's 29.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But she had gone to her OBGYN, and the doctor was like, well, okay. He noticed that she's single. She noticed that she's nearing her 30s, and she turns 30 this year, and told her, like, oh, you should consider freezing your egg. And I remember she came to me and, like, not crying, but, like, unwell from that. Because she was like,
totally.
she was like, I was turning 30, but, like, that was not even a thought for me. And now I'm, like, not even close to even having kids because I'm single. I don't even know where I'm going to be in the next 1 to 2 years. And I told her, I was like, girl, don't worry. Like, forget about that biological clock, okay? Don't freeze. I mean, if you want to freeze your eggs, you can freeze your eggs. But I was like, if once you find your person, you'll do IVF and it'll be the same amount price, I guess.
Yeah.
And you'll navigate that part of your life.
Yeah. No, and I feel like it's something that a lot of women think about. Even I was out with some girlfriends yesterday, and she literally talked about freezing her eggs.
Yeah.
And we're the same age, you know, and she's 28, you know, and I think it's a reality we all think about for sure. Like if you're single, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
But it's so true, you know, like you never know what could happen, especially with modern medicine.
Right.
You know, but another question, another way of picking your brain at single people.
Okay. Let's get into
I
it.
just feel like it's so interesting to get someone who's married or been in a relationship for a really long time and like how they see like the dating culture.
Yeah.
So what do you think about how dating apps have affected the dating culture?
Oh, for sure. I think there was a girl on TikTok that says like the supply and demand for the coochie, like the supply is very high and the demand is very high. And
Economics, people.
The basic rule of economics. And it was funny. She was just saying that like don't be supplying the coochie so easily. But I'm not saying supply the coochie. That's not the direction that I want to go with this question. I do think that because of dating apps, sex and relationships have become transactional. But I do have family members that are in happy relationships, meeting their significant other by just sliding through the DMs without knowing them at all, and also through dating apps. So I don't think it is possible, but I think dating apps have definitely made relationships feel transactional.
Yeah.
Because it's every date that you go on, it's like, hi, how are you? What do you do?
Yeah, and it's like so much too.
Yeah.
Like there's so much like options.
Yeah.
You know?
And so you don't know like what you're gonna get on there.
And especially men who are like in their party fun stage, right?
Yeah.
Like they're gonna want to explore their buffet.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
And women too.
And
like if they
yeah.
want to have fun, have sex, throw the coochie all over the place, that's fine too. But if you're looking to, I guess, be in a relationship, be treated well, you know, have fun when you want to, but also like don't be as accessible.
Yeah, I agree.
Because men are gonna slide in whenever, wherever, however.
They don't care.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. You have to create respect for yourself for a man to respect you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
For sure.
I feel like if you don't respect yourself, you don't have standards or anything like that, why would a man do that? I mean, why would anyone do that,
Yeah.
right?
You gotta love yourself.
You have to love yourself,
Yeah.
you know, and have standards for yourself. And
Yeah.
I mean, I've noticed, especially the higher my standards go, and they're sky high these days. It's
As
scary.
you should. And that's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
You'll
No,
find
it's
your
great.
person that checks off those boxes.
Oh, for sure. And honestly, like the higher my standards become, the more qualified the men become, you know, where I'm like, okay,
Exactly.
I'll like
Because
see as an
the
option.
people that comes into your circle are
Yeah.
the ones that have been vetted by you.
Yeah, and that's how you attract something. Just
Yeah.
like, and also that's how you become happier. Because let's get real, a relationship in our life like that can make or break your life. You know, can you imagine like, and it's happened to me before where you're living with someone, you're laying in a bed, and you turn to your side, you're like, oh my god, this isn't it. It's a reality. It's a reality for a lot of women.
Happens.
It's crazy.
And I think women need to be brave enough to realize that too.
Yeah. You know, relationships like marriage actually kind of scares me sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, because sometimes women go into marriages loving that person, of course, and they wake up 10 years later and they just no longer love that person or even know who that person is next to them. You know, and I'm not saying this is common, right, at all.
Yeah, but it could happen.
But it can happen, you know, and that for me is scary to wake up one day and to look at my partner, I just don't recognize them because you're constantly growing, you're constantly evolving, right?
Right.
But sometimes that can happen in a bad way. That can happen in a negative way.
Right.
And I guess I'm a little traumatized because I've seen that happen before where, you know, you marry someone, you're happy, and then years later, it becomes toxic. It just becomes unhealthy. And of course, that it takes two to tangle in that situation. And there's a lot of contingencies, things involved in that for it to go south, right? And I think when you know yourself and you're in therapy or you're in whatever and you're evolving together and there's communication, that won't happen. But that always sits in the back of my mind of like, you know, and I think that's why I focus so much on myself today because I'm so scared to like enter a relationship again and not know who that person is.
Okay. I mean, I think that is a valid fear.
Yeah.
Because it can happen. But I do think that when you find your person, and maybe that person can be your person today, and in 10 years they won't. But I think being proactive and getting to know your partners every day, having different hobbies, but having the same hobbies together, having the same values, having the same ambition, the same goals. And I think one thing that can help combat that is now that I've been in a relationship for 10 years, it really has opened my eyes like, shit, this has been a decade. It's been 10 years since we've been dating. It's been 10 years since I stopped talking to that one girl that I would consider my best friend in high school. Like, it was 10 years that, you know, like, it really set like the stage for me in essence of like what I will tolerate moving forward. Because I was like, 10 years passed by so quick and everything just blurred. And I think moving forward, being proactive with your partner, making sure that you guys are still pouring into each other's cups, pushing each other to become the best version of each other's selves. But it's not more so of like filling their cup and leaving yours empty. It's just making sure that like you both are building the foundation of that relationship together and just like building more towards it.
Yeah. It's just being very intentional, it seems.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like finding a partner that is also willing to be intentional.
Yeah, exactly. And that doesn't.
That's the hard part.
No, I don't think it's the hard part. It's just finding that right person.
No, but I love that. That sounds so beautiful.
Thank
You
you.
sound so at peace when you talk about your marriage.
Oh, thank you. Our marriage is good. Life is just throwing shit at us, but we're good.
And
we're
it's
pushing
crazy
through.
because you guys have been through like such transformative years of your life
For sure.
together. You
For
know,
sure.
I mean, from like what, 18
to 17.
17?
Yeah.
Wow. 17 to now, 27. I mean, those are like the craziest years, I would
we're the
say,
youngest.
internally, like with yourself, you know, because like that's really when you get to know yourself. So the fact that you guys were able to navigate that, I mean, you guys can walk through fire.
We'll try. We'll see. Yeah. We walked through fire already.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
But not in a toxic way in our relationship with life.
Yeah, just like external things.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Oh my God, that got really deep. I loved it though. Okay, looking back, what advice would you give to your younger self based on what you've learned from your upbringing and your experiences in life?
Yeah, the advice I'd give my younger self is definitely to never lose your eye on the prize. Is that the right way to say that?
Yeah.
Just think about the bigger picture and what your dreams and goals are, and then seeing how you can get there. And I think it's so important to be very clear about your dreams, but also just be very logical with what you do in your life. Before my frontal lobe closed, I was very more so motivated as to like what my passion is, and I still am. I want to be more motivated into like providing financial stability for myself and for my future kids. And so I think just keeping a good eye on that prize, setting a prize and keeping an eye on it and being logical about it.
Yeah, no, I love that. Being very intentional.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to other women looking to succeed in either real estate or digital marketing or just in life?
Yeah. So I think in real estate to be successful, and not just in real estate and marketing, but I would say in general, perfecting your craft, becoming better, becoming a mason to your craft, you know, just really tapping into the skills that you need to refine or not refine, but just like really strengthen the skills that you need to strengthen to get to where you want to be.
I like, especially social media. I keep bringing up social media, but
no, I love social media.
And I love it. But like, I think the downfall is that it only shows you the highlights. So people forget that there's so much work behind everything else.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
And you can't compare yourself.
So it's just like you see this person with a beautiful car, beautiful apartment, all these things, and they've set the foundation for themselves. They've done the work.
Right.
And then you sit here and you think you can just pick it up one day and you'll literally become that overnight, you know? So I love that. Just doing the work.
Yeah.
Remember, there's
just do the work. Yeah. Like in real estate, I think to get started, ask for a team that needs help. And then in marketing, just learning all the trends that you can and being ahead. And all of it all ties into tapping into your knowledge and building on that.
Yeah. I love that. Okay. Okay, so I was gonna ask what legacy would you hope to leave behind, but I kind of want to ask like a little love one.
Okay. Well, legacy, nepotism babies.
No, that's for sure.
Yeah,
That's
that's
for
for
sure.
sure.
Okay, so your legacy, you need nepo babies. I love
Yeah, I
that.
want
Our
my
nepo
babies to be
babies,
nepos.
our nepo babies will grow together.
I hope so.
Yeah, yeah, they'll
I
grow
hope so.
together and they'll be
Do
little rich kids all through Miami.
speaking of, are you planning on putting your kids in St. Brendan or other private schools in Miami?
Honestly,
Have you
probably
thought about
another private school.
that? Okay.
Honestly, I don't even want to put my kids in like any public school. If I could homeschool my kids,
You would.
I would.
Oh, that's
I
sweet.
would because I think the school system, not to go into a whole nother tangent, but I think
Mm-hmm.
the school system teaches you to be a worker,
Yeah,
not an
I've thought about it.
entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I want my children to be free thinkers.
Yeah.
If I had the opportunity
Mm-hmm.
to not put my child an education system, because that's
Mm-hmm.
what it is, the system.
Yeah, it is a
And you come
system.
out like a certain breed,
Mm-hmm.
basically, you
Yeah.
know, I would do that because
Yeah.
I think that education sometimes can stunt your imagination.
Yeah, it can. I would agree to a certain degree to
But if
that.
I had to put them into school, yeah, it would probably be like not St. Brendan.
Okay, yeah, I've thought about it.
But
For me, I would say I'd put my kids in public school for all of their elementary,
oh,
but like a
okay.
good public school, like an
Yeah.
A+ school.
In the Grove.
Yeah. No, hopefully we are going to be there.
You are gonna be there, girl.
We
Yeah.
are going to be there. I think in middle school and high school, I would put them in a private school. Like
Mm,
it's definitely like set.
yeah.
So that's why going back to like thinking logically, I'm like, well, now that I'm getting older, now that 10 years have passed by, these next 10 years are going to count because
Yeah.
it's what solidifies my legacy and my children's
Yeah.
life.
Those are major jump years, like
Yeah.
what is it, quantum leaps? But you've set a good foundation in your
Yeah.
early 20s.
So what was the love question that you were going to ask?
Let me see. I want to pose it. You kind of answered a little bit about like, you know, how to keep a relationship growing and evolving. You answered that. If you had any advice to a single girly out there, right,
Okay.
who's looking for a serious relationship, what's the qualities you see in your husband that you would tell your single friends to look for in a man?
That's sweet. Well, first of all, don't look at my husband.
No. He's taken or he's off the market.
He's perfect for me, and that's
That's it.
only. But I would say qualities that really drew me to him is just being loyal, trustworthy, honest. Those are three main characteristics that I would say. Like he's never been shady in his life. And trust me, I'm a woman.
Yeah.
We're always two
That
steps
intuition,
ahead.
yeah.
Yeah, we're always two steps ahead. And I tell him that too. I'm like, you can't get ahead of me. You can't surprise me because I know.
Do you think he's
And
a little scared
you
of
can't
you?
cheat. Oh no, I threaten him all the time, but with words.
Yeah, of course.
I'm always telling him
No,
like
yeah.
behave
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk out the door.
Yeah. And you have that little Latina side too, you know?
Yeah. But no, I think searching for someone who's honest and who is mindful, who is also emotionally intelligent and is like receptive of your own emotions and like what bothers you, what triggers you, you know, certain things like that. Just someone being emotionally intelligent for sure
I love
is
that.
important. Yeah. So
That's
those are all the
perfect.
traits that I'm like, love you, husband.
Love it. So
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you for all those questions.
Yeah, no, of course. And thank you for coming for a second time.
Thank you. It was an honor. We should do this more often, but like without microphones and
without
just
microphones.
hanging out.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always ready for a girls' night.
Yeah, for
you know,
sure.
so
For sure.
but seriously, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for
and it's
having
been a
me.
beautiful conversation. I've learned so much about you.
I've learned so much
and
about
your
you.
career. And yeah,
I
thank you
loved
so
it.
much.
Thank